It's a new year and a time when people make resolutions to do better, be better, and perhaps get healthier. Now, for some of us, that could include fighting the effects of aging. There's a process that a cohort of scientists is trying to halt and perhaps even reverse. To learn more, we've lined up a series for you this week on living longer. And in the first instalment, I take a look at what aging is and why aging populations are a problem that governments here in Asia are trying to solve. If everything goes well, your life may well be a long and healthy one. But what if we knew how to escape death? The search for immortality has a history that goes back a long way. We've been trying forever to live forever, or at least find answers that will fix the issue of growing old and dying.
In reverse aging, we are talking about new possibilities. A person to be able to feel young again, look young again.
We've thought for a long time it's going to be possible to slow aging, but I think the tools are in place.
We may be able to stop the acceleration of aging process at some point, and we also may be able to extend healthy lifespan.
For thousands of years, since the ancient Egyptians, even Qin Shi Huang of the ancient Chinese Empire also had this preoccupation of finding the pill for immortality, because everyone feared getting old and the consequences of aging.
And it's the consequences of getting older that are at the core of a race to develop drugs and therapies to halt or even reverse getting older. But is aging a disease that needs to be fixed?
Well, I think aging is not a disease. If aging was a disease, then life would be a terminal illness, because we all age. However, aging does result in accumulated genetic mutations, damages to the cell, and that results in consequences of aging that lead to disease. For example, failure of the heart, failure of the kidneys, failure of other organs, and those need to be addressed.
What is surprising is that in 2018, WHO, World Health Organization, actually classified aging as a medical condition. Not as a disease yet, but kind of medical condition, which means to the effect that aging is not natural, as most of us think. And right now there are thousands of researchers going into every aspect to how to reverse aging at this moment.
Before you try to do something about your age, a heads up. As far as science is concerned, you have two of them. The one you already know is that number tracking the times that you've traveled around the sun, or your chronological age. The other tracks the way your cells have changed as you live your life, and a pretty good indicator of how fast you will age. And at its center is the study of epigenetics. What is epigenetics? It's sort of built into the word. Genetic, meaning DNA, epi, meaning the environment around it, that can cause changes and control the way your genes work. An analogy would be like a circuit board. Epigenetics can turn those switches on or off. The genes that make up your DNA may be fixed, but the environment around your genes is not. Factors like stress, pollution, diet can cause changes in this environment that lead to changes in DNA. And game-changing research has found that a little thing called telomeres play a critical role in protecting our DNA from all that damage.
So telomeres are the ends of the chromosome, and all of us have genetic material. And towards the end of each genetic material, there are these little caps at the end, some redundant pieces of DNA that sit at the ends of our chromosome. And if there's damage to the chromosome, sometimes it happens at the end, before it reaches the main genes themselves, where all the important stuff happens. If you liken an analogy, these are like the caps at the ends of the shoelaces to prevent the shoelaces from getting frayed, from getting disentangled. So the cell would have to undergo a little bit of damage to the telomeres before the important genes start to get affected. So longer telomeres help to protect the cell against damages to the important genes in the chromosome.
It turns out shorter telomeres may make us more prone to age-related illness.
The research in longevity has really advanced. We've come up with so many different potential interventions, mostly in animal models, that might work in humans, that people are starting to think, wait a minute, maybe we can slow down or even reverse some aspects of aging. The opportunities now there to really target human aging.
I know what you're thinking. What's the point? Living longer might only sound appealing if those extra years are good ones. Around 150 years ago, people didn't live long enough to experience age-related illnesses. Now, chronic disease, which older people are particularly susceptible to, make up the primary causes of death around the world. And it's that rise of age-related sick years in the Asia-Pacific that's the worrying trend.
We are living longer, but we are losing on average 10 good years. So that alone, is enough for us to sit up. We want to live longer. We want to be able to see children grow up, grandchildren, and we have so much we want to do. But of course, the main concern is, are we able to leverage the life expectancy? Because if you look at, living with disabilities, I don't think anyone wants to opt for that.
I think the main focus, though, is health span. Our goal is to keep people healthy as long as possible, and if they live longer, that's a nice side effect. The problem right now is that lifespan is going up faster than health span, and so that gap, that period when people are sick, is widening, and that's where all the healthcare costs are. That's where all the quality of life problems are. That's where all the challenges are. And so if we can, and that's because of sick care. We wait till people get sick and then we keep them alive, but still sick for a long period of time.
Too many years of sick care is an economic quandary many governments in Asia are poring over to solve. Populations in the Asia-Pacific are aging faster than any other region worldwide. There are now 630 million people aged 60 years or over, representing 60% of the world's older people. And by 2050, that number is projected to increase to 1.3 billion. And this structural shift will force us to rethink, well, almost everything. Fewer healthy older people who are still employable poses a massive risk to Asia's economic muscle. Now, the question policymakers are asking is, can new science turn back time to give humans more productive years? And who would want them?
We're actually now all talking about preventative medicine, all right? It used to be reactive medicine. It means that you get sick, you go see a doctor. Right now, the whole world, every government is we are all moving in the direction of how to not see a doctor, and that is a better move. Having to see my father, right, in his last 10 to 12 years, totally helpless in bed, not even being able to feed himself, but still probably sometimes. You're gonna see that he is conscious, and suspecting if the mind in there is still active, and it's a horrible thought. 60% of people above 65 are in some kind of condition where they already have a chronic illness or being debilitated in bed, and well, I'm not very far away. In fact, right now I'm 10 years away from 65, and I want to do all I can to avoid that risk.
Entirely cheating death may well be impossible, but revolutionary biotech is today chipping away at the mystery of immortality and hacking at the secrets in our genetic codes in a race to cheat death.